last video we created a new column and a new relationship and corrected our revenue by country visual. Let's continue and create some additional visuals. Click on some white space on the canvas. From the visualization pane on the right, find and select the tree map visual. Reposition this and allow some space both above and beneath the visual. From the datasets on the right hand side, expand manufacturer and click on the checkbox next to manufacturer name. And then let's select our revenue from the sales dataset. Nice and colourful. Let's create another visual. Click on some white space on the canvas and from the sales dataset, click on date. And then revenue. Reposition the visual in the top right quadrant. Notice how a hierarchy is created for the date, giving us a default of 4 levels. We'll explore those shortly. Let's look at the visual interactions. Clicking on a country will give you the revenue breakdown by manufacturer and date. As we click other countries, we see their breakdown also. We can do this the other way around and select a manufacturer and see their sales in the relevant countries and by date. We can also click on the year and see where the sales came from in that year and from which manufacturer. The challenging aspect from a user experience perspective is that when you select some of the smaller charts or some of the smaller bars, you don't necessarily see the trends that occur or the data values in the highlighted grids. Let's handle this by changing the interaction between the visuals so that we see the actual data rather than highlighted values. From the revenue by country name, let's select Australia. Let's navigate up to the Format tab at the top and click on the button that says Edit Interactions. This is like an on-off switch, so let's switch it on. You'll notice a few icons appear above the visuals except for the one selected, as this is the source of the interaction. Let's hover over Revenue by Year and click on the icon that says Filter. Notice how the bars change to show a filtered value rather than a highlighted value. In the same vein, let's move over to Revenue by Manufacturer and click on the filter icon there also. Notice how now when we click on each country, we are given an actual breakdown of their figures by manufacturer and by year. This allows us to see the trends and analysis much clearer than before. Let's move over to our revenue by year and let's click on 2018. From here, let's navigate over to revenue by country name and click on the filter icon. Let's move down to revenue by manufacturer and again click on the filter icon. Now as we click through the years, we can see our revenue by country and by manufacturer. Finally, let's go over to our manufacturer name and let's click on an individual manufacturer. From here, let's hover over the revenue by country name and click on the filter icon. And then let's hover over the revenue by year and again click on the filter icon. We can now click on any manufacturer and see the breakdown by country and by year. We can also multi-select by using the control key. Let's click on Australia, hold down the control button and then select Van Arstel. We are now looking at a trend by year for Australia and the manufacturer of an R-Stel. Notice the jump in sales between 2018 and 2019, which we'll look at shortly. To release a multi-select, simply click on a blank area of the screen or visual. Before we continue, let's switch off the Edit Interactions button. So navigate over to the Format tab at the top and switch off the Edit Interactions. Okay, great stuff. Let's have a look at the various drill down options that we get with Power BI. There are 4 icons that become available when the drill down capability is allowed. By default, when you click on a bar, Power BI cross-highlights and cross-filters other visuals. The first of the available icons is the drill up option, which is greyed out when you are at the top level. The second is the drill down option, which allows you to switch on and switch off the drill down capability. Let's switch it on and click on 2018. Notice how it now drills down into the next level of data, which is a quarter. Clicking on quarter 1 will now drill us into the next level of data, which will be the month level. Let's now switch off the drill down by clicking on the drill down button. Clicking on a month now will revert back to highlighting and cross-filtering as before. Let's switch on the drill down option again and click on January, and now we'll drill down to the next level and the final level of the hierarchy, which will be the day. Notice already that the 31st of January seems to be a popular day for sales. Let's drill back up to the top level using the drill up button until it greys out. Let's switch off the drill down option and move on to the next one, which is the double arrows. The double drill arrow drills all the data into the next level, aggregating it all into quarter 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this option has taken quarter 1 from all the available years 2012 through to 2019 and aggregated it into a single bar. Drilling down again with a double arrow will now show us an aggregated value for month. So all the January, February and March months throughout the years from 2012 to 2019 are aggregated in this view. Clicking on the double arrow again will drill down into the day view, giving us a view of individual days throughout the month. Notice how the 15th of the month seems to be a very popular day for sales. Let's use the drill up arrow to drill back to the top level until the arrow greys out. The final drill down is what I call the fork drill down. Clicking on the fork will drill us down into the next level, but keeping that connection with the level above. So as we can see each quarter for each year in this view. Clicking on the fork drill down again, we can now see every month for every quarter for every year in individual bars. Clicking on the fork drill down again, we'll now be able to see every single day for every single month for every single quarter in every single year. Let's drill back up to the top using the drill up button until it greys out. We can also mix and match. If we switch on the drill down option, click on 2018, will take us into the quarter view for 2018. Switch the drill down off. From here we can use a double arrow to then drill in to show us individual months for the whole year. When you're ready, drill up to the top level. Note that Drilling up and drilling down can cause confusion for end users, so having a good understanding of how this works is very important. Let's continue with our report development. From the revenue by year visual, let's click on the fork drill down twice so that we drill down to the month level of data. As you can see that the data labels are quite poor, and from the user experience perspective, this isn't great. So let's handle this. With the revenue by date visual selected, navigate to the Format tab on the right hand side, the icon that looks like a paintbrush, and expand the x-axis. Find the option that says Concatenate Labels and switch it off. Notice how the labels on the x-axis are now in a much better readable format. This keeps the format as we drill up and drill down in the visual also. Drilling down into the day view, we can see the individual days clearly in which month in the quarter of each year. This gives you, and more importantly, the end user, a much better user experience. Let's drill back up to the top. Great stuff. Let's create another visual. Click on some white space on the canvas and then navigate to the visualization pane on the right. Find and click the matrix visual, which will be to the left of the R. Ensure the matrix table is positioned underneath the revenue by year visual. Navigate to the sales dataset on the right hand side and click on the checkbox next to revenue. Once we've added our revenue to our visual, let's expand our product dataset. In here, we have our category, segment, and product name, which together form a product hierarchy. Before we add our columns to the visual, let's create our hierarchy. There are a number of ways to create a hierarchy, but one of the simplest ways is to use the Model tab. So let's navigate over to the left hand side and click on the Model tab. This is our model view as we saw earlier. Clicking on the product dataset will show us the properties. Navigate to the right hand side and expand the product table. Right click on category and click Create Hierarchy. Notice how a category hierarchy is now present in the field list. Let's add some additional levels. Navigate to the bottom of the Properties section and click on the option to add levels. Firstly, select Segment, click on Add Level again, and this time select Product. Once 3 levels have been added, click on Apply Level Changes. Navigate to the top of the properties and rename it to Product Hierarchy. Great stuff. We've now got our product hierarchy created. If we expand it, we can see the levels it contains. Let's take this opportunity to clean up the dataset. To improve the user experience, we want to remove any duplicate fields or columns. So let's do that now. As with other functions and features, there are a number of ways to do this. We're going to use the Is Hidden toggle button that's available here. Let's begin by highlighting the segment field and toggling the Is Hidden button to Yes. Ensure it's the segment item that's outside of the product hierarchy. Let's do the same with product ID. Highlight and toggle to Yes. Highlight the product. Again, ensure it's outside of the hierarchy and toggle to Yes. Let's do the same for category and toggle to Yes. And let's also do it for manufacturer ID. and toggle to yes. Great stuff. Once complete, let's navigate back to the report canvas. Navigate to the left and click on the report icon. Notice how the product table now has a much cleaner and clearer view of its columns. Let's continue and add the hierarchy to our matrix table. Ensure the matrix table is selected and navigate to the product table on the right hand side and click on the checkbox next to product hierarchy. Notice how all levels of the hierarchy are added to the visual. Notice the drill down arrows appear as they did for the revenue by date visual above, as well as plus and minus icons to be able to drill down into each category, segment and product. Let's close up these categories and let's take a look at the scenario we were looking at earlier. I'm going to select Australia, Control Select Van Arstel from manufacturers, and this time I'm also going to Control Select 2019. This now shows me the categories that made the most revenue in that year. I can also click on the fork drill down, which then drills me down into the segment, showing me exactly which segments made the most revenue that year. Use the drill down features and have a look for yourself. Navigate around the visual as well as drilling up and drilling down. Remember to drill back up to the top level before continuing. Okay, excellent. Let's close up some of these datasets on the right and add some more analysis to our report. From the sales dataset, drag and drop another revenue value underneath the already existing revenue option. You'll notice a yellow line appear underneath the existing revenue where you should drop the item. This will create another revenue column, which is what we expect. From here, let's navigate back to the second revenue option that we added and click on the little drop down next to it. Let's find the option for Show Value As and then click on % of grand total. So clicking on the drop down menu, Show Value As and then % of grand total. Notice how the second revenue value has now changed to a % of grand total, showing us that the urban category accounts for 79% of total sales. Let's have a look at our scenario again. I'm going to select Australia and Control Select Van Arstel. You can see that over 97% of sales come from the urban category, and we can also drill down into the next level and show a breakdown of that percentage through the segments. I'm going to drill up and then Control Select 2018. Notice how in 2018 there is $57 million worth of revenue for the urban category. In 2019, this jumps up to a massive 68 million. It would be great to see the percentage growth for this year and also look at previous year's values. In the next video, we'll be looking at creating measures to show us exactly these figures. See you in the next video.